So I got this asked recently, who is ComicWorks? I guess to know ComicWorks you have to get to know me first. So let me introduce myself. Let's go. First off, I want to apologize about the lack of live streaming. I live someplace where the internet really sucks and I'm on CenturyLink, but hopefully Elon Musk is going to get that Starlink going and we'll solve that problem here pretty soon. So about me. Growing up, I was a fan of sci-fi, mythology, monster movies, anything like that. I watched them all. Bionic Man, Bionic Woman, Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, you name it. At the movies, I was in line for hours for the first Star Wars movies. If it was sci-fi oriented, fantasy oriented, I was there. I was all over it. I started reading comics in, I guess, about the second grade. I went with somebody to lunch and ended up buying a 3-pack off a Circle rack at a convenience store. One of the comics in that pack was Avengers 188. I found a local Circle K by my house and started buying more titles with my allowance. I guess I got tired of missing issues because there's no guarantee off a Circle rack, and I decided to find a comic book store. Pegasus Books in Beaverton was about 4 miles away, one way. Now, many of you know locally that Pegasus Books became Things from Another World, or TFAW. For those that aren't familiar with the name, yes, I bought all my comic books when I was younger from Mike Richardson himself, Mike Richardson of Dark Horse Comics. At one point, I went to college. Since money was scarce, I worked for a friend at a comic shop, DJ's Comics. It was here that I learned the ins and outs of retailing. Fast forward to 2007, I had an idea, and I reached out to David Reed, who created and sold Next Planet Over. Some of you might remember that name. And I picked his brain to help me with a business plan. I built and developed a platform, and I'm going to get a little bit businessy with you here for a second. Our goal was to revolutionize an $850 million global comic book industry by giving publishers and consumers an entirely different entertainment experience by changing the distribution format and sale of comic books. Consumers would buy comics digitally via an online storefront and participate with other fans via an interactive global community. Sorry about that. Neighbor dog across the way. We would sell digital comics at a discount below print comics by cutting out shipping and printing. Comics were getting expensive and hard for new fans to enter into the hobby. At least that's what I felt. I needed help with sales and messaging, so I recruited a friend of mine named Brian. At this time, I had a deal with Dreamwave already, and I think they did some of the best Transformers titles of anybody that's ever had the IP. We had ongoing negotiations with several other smaller publishers. We did talk to Dark Horse, we did talk to Image, and we were well on our way. But we got scooped. We built things out to a point and Comixology happened. They had deeper pockets, and they're further in the process. So it became a choice, and we decided to cut our losses. This was very painful for me because I've always wanted to do something in comics. So I came to YouTube at about the tail end of Gamergate. I found Ethan and Zach shortly after they started. I had stopped collecting comics in about 2013 because something was wrong. The industry had been changing for a while, and I guess my love of comics went with it. But there was always something missing. And every once in a while I would sneak on Comixology, believe it or not, and I'd buy something just to, feed the beast. But there was obviously something wrong. It was like a cancer. So when I came across them and their channels, I thought, wow, people who think something's wrong as well. Fast forward to November 2018. I'd been listening to Ethan's show. This was shortly after the debate with England team at I Love Comics. Malin, EBS, and some of the guys were sitting around talking about story ideas. And I thought, well, I'd been sitting on an idea for over 10 years. Okay, if I'm going to write something, I'm going to make myself a deal. If I was going to write something, I was going to write something I wanted to read. So I wrote. To this date, I have 4 completed stories. Along the way, one of the stories I read to my dad, and he asked if it was going to be on audiobook. So I thought, that's really interesting. Why not lead with Eclipse in that format to reach out to an entirely different audience and bring them into my graphic novel when it comes out, hopefully later this year. You can see the trailer on my YouTube page if you're interested. I had to think of a name for my publishing company and my YouTube channel. I still had a lot of the logo and the artwork for ComicWorks Online, so I changed it to ComicWorks Studios. So that's who I am and how I got here. There are a lot of fun details along the way, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad to meet a lot of you, and I'm glad I'm surrounded by people that also love comics. Don't have to agree with me. I just want to have the conversation. I believe that I'm making some of the best stories in comic books that I've ever read. Eclipse is my Batman spy kind of character, and Valor is a character story. More on that soon. I'm not saying that because I wrote it. I'm saying that because it truly is something that I guess is just on autopilot when I get in writing mode. It just flows right out of me. And it's incredible, and I'm thinking of new stories all the time. So I'm having a lot of fun writing. I hope to share a little bit more about me and ComicWorks. If you like this video, like and subscribe and share this. Help me make this a lifelong dream and reality. I hope that over time we'll get a chance to get to know each other and have a little bit of fun. I'd really like to invite some guests along, so if you would like to just get on and talk about comics, let's hit me up, send me a message. I'm on Twitter. Certainly you can leave a message here. Let's get together and do something. I'm going to leave you with a trailer of the platform that we built. Proud of it. It's still up there on YouTube. We just lost the password a long time ago, so I haven't been able to recover it. So I started a new YouTube page when I made ComicWorks Studios. So anyway, I hope you enjoy.